Today we're going to do a more specific graph of a parabola. We're not just going to sketch it. We're going to actually find more than just the vertex, find more points, and graph the whole thing. This is not the most fun thing to do with quadratics. It takes some time. It's easy to make calculation errors. Take your time. Get through today. We will go into other things about quadratics and we won't have to graph by hand, but we need to see it, we need to know how to do it, and then we'll move on, okay? Very similar to yesterday. First thing you want to do, here I've got a very basic quadratic, y equals x squared. So we want to identify a and b. A is the coefficient of the squared term, so that's going to be 1. There is no x term, so b is 0. And there is no constant, so c is also 0. This would be x squared plus 0 plus 0, right? So these zeros are kind of nice. They're going to make life maybe a little easier for us. So the axis of symmetry, remember, we say x equals minus b over 2a. So the opposite is 0 over 2 times 1. 0 divided by anything is 0, so the axis of symmetry is x equals 0. That means the axis of symmetry is the y-axis. Okay, so your axis of symmetry is going to be that y-axis. Then we're going to find the vertex. The vertex, remember, you take this x value, and you plug it in to find the y value. So we're going to say y equals x squared. X is 0, so 0 squared is 0. That means our vertex is the origin, right? So my vertex is right here. And you want to write that 0, 0 in the middle of your table. That's your vertex. You're going to write that vertex in the middle of the table. We'll worry about domain and range in just a minute. The next thing we want to do points on one side of this. I like the positive side of 0. So I'm going to choose 1 and 2 because those are the next things on the positive side of 0. And I'm going to do, just like we did when we started graphing lines, I'm going to plug in 1 and I'm going to plug in 2. Well, my equation is y equals x squared. So I'm going to say y equals 1 squared, which is 1. So when x is 1, y is 1. And then I'm going to say y equals 2 squared, and that is 4. So when x is 2, y is 4. So my point, and I know these graphs are small and horrendous, but I've got 1, 1, and then I've got the point 2, 4. Okay, so right there. And you can see this is going to keep going up this way. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use something to our benefit. We're going to use the fact that a parabola is symmetric. And this side, if this is the axis of symmetry, this side's got to look exactly like this side. So on the other side of 0, I have negative 1, negative 2, but the y values on the other side of the vertex have to match. So this is going to be 1, this is going to be 4. Your y table, once you have the vertex, the y side should be symmetrical. 0, 1, 4, 0, 1, 4. This should be symmetrical, and that will help you graph. So I'm going to put a point here. I'm going to put a point at negative 2, 4, and again, this coordinate plane is is little. I'm going to sketch it in, and there's my parabola. Y equals x squared. This is called the parent parabola. That's as basic as you can get. It's sort of like the line y equals x. You'll learn a lot in Algebra 2 about how to manipulate this. Move it up, move it down, flip it over, left and right, that sort of thing. Okay, I've decided for right now we're not going to worry about domain and range, so don't worry about those two blanks. Let's just do the axis of symmetry, the vertex, fill in the table, and graph. I'm going to do number 4 with you since it's got the negative involved, and then you're going to do this number 2, and you're going to do the problem on the back of the note. So you can do 2 by yourself and then check it with my work. All right, so number 4, A is negative 2, B is 4, and C is 1. So we want to find the axis of symmetry. Negative B over 2A. So we get the opposite. B is 4, so we're going to get negative 4 over 2 times negative 2. That gives me negative 4 over negative 4, which is a positive 1. So my axis of symmetry is the line x equals 1. So that's this line, this vertical line right here, x equals 1. Okay? Now, to find the y value of the vertex, remember the x value of the vertex is that 1. We've got to find the y value, so we're going to plug it into the equation. And we're going to find y. So I get negative 2 times 1 is going to be negative 2 plus 4 plus 1. So what is that? 4 plus 1 is 5 minus 2 is 3. So I get my vertex is 1, 3. Write that in the middle of your table. So my vertex is 1, 3. Now, note, A is negative, so this parabola should point down, okay? Now, 1 is my vertex, so I need to choose two things on one side that I like. I like 0, but I also like positives. So I'm going to plug in a 2 and a 3, since they'll both be positive. So I'm going to plug both of those. I'm going to plug these two x values into the equation to find the y values. So let's plug in 2. Well, that one's kind of nice. Negative 8 plus 8 is 0, and 0 plus 1 is 1. Then I'm going to plug 3 in. Oh, I gotta have that negative 2 first. Negative 2 times 3 squared plus 4 times 3 plus 1. So what is that? Negative 2 times 9 plus 12 plus 1. Negative 18 plus 12 plus 1. What is that? 5? No, negative 5. Negative 5, right? Yeah, check me out. Make sure I got that right. So 3, negative 5 is that point. Now, I need to go on the other side of 0. I'm counting by ones, 1, 2, 3. So the other side of 0 is going to be 0, negative 1, and then I need it to be symmetrical. I had a 1 here, a 1's going to be here. I had a negative 5 here, I'm going to have a negative 5 here. Got to be symmetrical. So when I graph that, I get 0, 1, negative 1, negative 5, 2, 1, 3, negative 5. Notice how it's opening, going down, just like it should. And there is my parabola. Okay? This is not fun. You're going to have some work to show. Okay? Be careful with your calculations. Just get through it. Get through today. You'll be good. I want you to work number 2 here. Go to the back. Work the problem on the back. Check your work. Make sure you did it correctly. And then you do your practice. Alright, so for this one, I got a vertex of negative 1, 4. I went to 0, 1 because those would be a little easier to deal with, and found 5, 8. Then I went backwards and used the fact that a parabola is symmetric and got that. Okay, now go to the one on the back. Alright, for this last one, I got an axis of symmetry of x equals 0. That's the y-axis, so this one is centered on the y-axis. 0, negative 4 is what I got for the vertex. I plugged in 1 and 2, got negative 5, negative 8. I reversed that to get the symmetrical part, and my parabola is pointing down, which it should be since A is negative 1. Okay? If you have any questions, ask, and do your practice, and then we'll go on from here.